Well, hello. Good morning. It's so funny. I do these TikTok lives, pardon me as I check my hair. It comes out different every day. I do these TikTok lives all the time, quite frequently when I'm not traveling. And the funny thing is I usually just kind of hit the TikTok live button and I go live, right? And the funny thing is that I realize that there's all sorts of options they give me, like, oh, do you want to get leads and you do want to do this? Yeah, you know what I want to do? Boop. I just want to show up and help you today, this morning. Hello, Jane H. and Chandra and Maria and Nellie and Carrie, Nellie and Carrie and Michelle and Linda B. Welcome to the romper room portion of the show. Martina, nice to see you. And yeah, you know what? Here we are. What day is today? Actually, I've got my little inspirational calendar here. Whoop, yesterday was the past. Good morning, German Maid 95 and Karen. And Christina, hey, love to see you. Pinky Silver Choice. I realized I don't have any jewelry on today. It's probably in my pocketbook. I was wondering where you were. So hey me, hey you, and good morning. Here's how I roll. Don't worry, I don't just kind of ghost y'all. I don't. I let you know when I'm going off the digital grid, and basically when I travel, and I'm sure you get this, is I really want to be present in my travel. And I have found sometimes I like to do a pop-up TikTok live, and other times I want to be fully immersed in where I am. I have a hard time. I have ADHD. It runs in my family. I've never been formally diagnosed, but with the frequency with it shows up in my family, I wouldn't be surprised. So I like to practice focusing and being present. So good morning from Long Island and Romper Room, and I am in chilly Pennsylvania this morning. It's like 20 something degrees. And so I haven't gone out for my morning walk. I'm going to wait for it to warm up. But yeah, but here I am. So what I want to let you know about the TikTok lives that I do. So in case we haven't met before, hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and I call all of my stuff Destination Decluttered. I do that because I travel and I've written about road trips for decades. And I just want to reassure you that when I show up to TikTok lives, there's a so if you haven't followed my page, when you go to the front like TikTok page that I have, there's a little place where you can follow me. That'd be awesome. But I say that too because what I do is I schedule these TikTok lives, and when I schedule them on my own calendar and show up for them, I also will do a video and I will pin it to the top of my TikTok page so that you know when I'm going to show up. Now, I will say that the people on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. Jenny, thank you for the cat paws. Catherine, thank you for the rose. Is if you're on the mailing list, you get sent that schedule in advance. I've heard some folks said that they put it on their own calendar. So I encourage you to do that also because I may do some pop-ups. And now, listen to me, now. I may, and some of the people on the mailing list know when those pop-ups might happen. If you're not on the mailing list, no big deal. It will be a true pop-up for you. So anyhow, yes, I go away for a while, but then I come back. This weekend we're going away. In a few weeks we're going someplace warm because boy, do I turn into a different person when I'm cold. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. This is not about me. I didn't get into coaching because it's about me. Except for the fact that, boy, have I found some things to think about, to feel about, and that helps me do the things I want to do, clutter-wise and otherwise in my life. And I want to share those with you. That's the reason I got up at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time after being out yesterday with a whole bunch of stuff last night, because I'm here for you. So what are you struggling with clutter-wise? Put it in the comments, and I can answer your question. And when I answer your question, the cool thing is you're not alone. So many of us, especially here in the U.S., so many of us women, so many people of a certain age. So I have, clients that literally range from ages 25 to 75. But what I want to offer to you is we live in a society that has encouraged us to do some things that maybe have resulted in our lives not looking and feeling and functioning like we want it to, or our homes, buying things to make us feel better, putting other people ahead of us and us doing a lot of the maintenance of the home. Okay. Okay. Love it. Here we got some good stuff. And what I want to offer is when you ask a question, you are also helping somebody else who may not be brave enough to ask the question, but the answer can help everybody. So I'm going to get right into it. Okay. I'm going to scroll back here. Somebody said I should get a moderator, but I just like to do this pretty informally. So nice to see so many familiar faces. And again, if we haven't met before, my name's Beth, Destination Decluttered. Okay, human beings not doing. Yes, we are not robots. That's the thing I crack up about when you sign up for my mailing list is I have that little thing to stop the bots. There's my Boston accent. If anybody's doing Destination Decluttered TikTok Live Bingo, that's the first appearance of that. We are humans. We are humans and we do things. Sometimes it helps us our lives. Sometimes it doesn't. I gotta unbury my desk from clutter to work. Okay. So human beings, everybody, you're going to hear me say this phrase all the time. It's an encouragement. Get curious. Get curious, not judgy. Okay. Do not judge yourself about your clutter. That's going to shut you down. That's going to kind of have you roll together like an armadillo. Okay. What I want to offer is get curious why you have the clutter. What is the clutter? Even just what is the clutter on your desks? Now I'm here at a desk and I've got some stuff that's piled up over here that's kind of messy because I know it's stuff I want to deal with, but it's at a manageable level and it's only there temporarily. So get curious about why the clutter is where it is and why it isn't where it is a better place. Okay. But notice how the clutter on your desk, just notice that affects how your work functions, how your life functions. So the clutter isn't just about how it looks. It's about how it looks and how that makes you feel. And then how it makes you function. What do you do? Oh, I have to do this before I do that. Okay. So what I want to offer to everybody is your clutter, the way I coach it, I do one-on-one coaching with people just to throw that out there, is I consider your clutter to kind of fall into three categories and three categories in a certain order. You've got surface clutter. Surface clutter is anything that is on a horizontal surface. Look at my hand going horizontal surface from the floor to a table to a shelf, anything horizontal that has stuff on it that isn't where it's supposed to be. Then you have stored clutter. Stored clutter is the stuff, let me see if I move my camera. See that right there? That's a closet. Let me see if I can go over here. There's another closet over there. Behind doors and drawers. So think of your bureau, your dresser, your kitchen, things like that. Things that it may look good outside, but if you open up the door, whoa, don't do that, okay? Surface, stored, and then sentimental. Sentimental is the stuff gets you in the feels, gets you in the heart, okay? So the desk clutter is probably paperwork and it is surface clutter. Maybe you don't have a place to store it. Get curious what it is, why you're keeping it, and do you need to keep it anymore? And if the answer is yes, I want to keep this, consider the quantity of items you have. A lot of people say with paper clutter, how long do I keep this? I don't know. 7 years is typically like the guideline from the IRS as far as stuff if you're going to get audited for your taxes. So that's a thing to think about, okay? But what I want to do is I want to empower you to just stop what you're doing now. Just kind of, if we were on a road trip, if you were driving in a direction and you realized, wait a minute, this isn't where I want to go. If I keep driving down this road, it's gonna make me end up there, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to get more cluttered. I want to stop feeling ungood about where I am and where I'm going. You can stop the car, pull over safely to the side of the road, metaphorically, and say, okay, wait a minute. If I stay on this road, it's going to go that way, but where do I want to go instead? Now, I say that because this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, because when I get lost, when I say, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I remember my destination. And that helps me realize, oh, if I'm over here, I'm not there. But what I can do then is I can start to steer in that direction and get back on track, or just start driving in a new direction. Okay? So notice that. Okay? TikTok user says unshelved books. Okay, here's a cool thing. Put some books on your shelf. So easy. I know it's not as easy as that, but again, I'm going to say this because I want you to just not judge yourself, get curious. Do you have books on your shelf right now that are taking the space of the books you have. Maybe it's a math problem. I have too many books for the space I have allotted. So this is where you want to just take a look at the books you have and say, do I want and need all of these books? Now, I come from a book family, so trust me, in my family, it's like you can never have too many books. Boy, can you have too many books, my mother's house, okay? But just get curious about the books you've saved. Do you really want them? Do you really want to read them again? Are you saving it because you spent full price on it and you bought it and you're like, I'm going to do this, but is it taking up? Are you going to read it again? Get curious about that. Could you could you pick out some books that you want to share with somebody? Maybe you read a book and you think, oh boy, I really like this book. I would love it for somebody else to read it. Cool thing is, in my town, and maybe your town does this too, two things about books. If you have books that you no longer want, see if people in your neighborhoods have these little tiny libraries, these little free libraries where you can pop a book in there, or somebody can then open the little door and then pull out a book to read. And then you can put one in there. That's a cool thing. The other thing too is maybe your library has a way to donate books that they then sell them to raise money for your library. The other thing too is I can't remember where I was recently because we did some traveling, so it might have been here in PA, and it could have been anywhere from Massachusetts to Rhode Island to Connecticut to New York to New Jersey back to PA. Is I saw somewhere a donation box, kind of like a Goodwill box or something, the big metal ones that said book donations. There can be ways that you can donate your books. Okay? So just notice that. Oh, craft clutter. Where do I start? Okay, we've got a lot of good stuff. Baby keepsakes. Okay, I'm going to bunch these together. So where do you start, says Peggy, and I think this is going to help everybody. I know it's going to help you. That's why I'm showing up. First of all, notice that you're saying, I'm desperate. I feel desperate. Calm down that desperate feeling. The very first thing, everybody, the very first thing to do with any project is to calm down your overwhelm. And I say calm down in the most loving way. Calming down your internal physical body and nervous system. A few deep breaths, 3 deep breaths. Give some oxygen to your cells. Slow down your breathing. Breathe down. I like to call this kind of all the downs, because when we talk about overwhelm and desperation, that feeling is like, I'm desperate. Oh my God. Calming down, slowing down, breathing down, making your nervous system feeling better so that you have more oxygen basically going to the cells in your brain so you can make better decisions. And when you do that, what I would love for you to do is just think of kind of all the downs. Then after you calm down your nervous system, your heart, all of that, then write it down. There are studies that prove that writing something down with your hand on paper allows you to remember. There's a better connection there than if you type it out. Writing down also slows you down because you need to articulate. You can't write as quickly as you can think. So that helps you slow yourself down too. And write down what you want your home to look and feel and function like. Create your destination so you have something to aim for. And create your destination that you want to aim for in a way that kind of ignites a spark in your feels, that gets your nervous system saying, hey, I want to go there. Because if you don't have the spark in you, this is where I always think about, you can be in your car and you can be in your driveway. And if you're driving to a job you hate and you're going through traffic, it's a certain feel because of where you're going and the traffic. If you're in your driveway and you're driving to the beach is always the beach be one of the best places we got. The beach is going to give you a different feeling, even if you're stuck in traffic. So create an image in your head, a feeling in your body about what it looks like, and even more so, what do you want to feel like in your home? How do you want your body to feel? Here's a tip from my coaching. If you're like, I don't know, better, whatever, think about how you're feeling now that doesn't feel so good. What's the flip side of that? If I'm feeling stressed, what's the opposite of stress for you? Write that down. If you're feeling all hunched in, how does that feel in your body? You want to feel, calm, relaxed, at peace, loving, happy, centered, because it is not just about how it looks. I don't care if your Cheerios are in a plastic container with a perfect label on them. If you don't feel good in your inners and in your home, then it doesn't matter what your Cheerios look like. So this is why I'm a decluttering life coach. I don't just go by the surface. I cannot fold a fitted sheet to save my life. However, I love the way my home looks. I love how I feel in my home, and it has taken me a long time to get here. I also love how my life looks and feels and functions, and that's why I show up to help you with that. And it's not just about the surface. It's not just about what is going on out there. It is motorboat. It is all about what it looks like and how that makes you feel. Okay? So just think about that. All right? Now, craft clutter, notice the things that you are using and the things you're not. Are you doing the crafts? Is the crafts, do it still bring you joy? Or are you kind of over it? Oh, I thought I was going to be mosaicing and now no, not mosaicing. Okay? Samantha's asking about baby keepsakes. Baby keepsakes, total sentimental clutter. That can be, a challenge. And that's the stuff. I do not suggest that you start your decluttering with the sentimental items. As I like to say, that's like walking into the gym and going directly for the heaviest weight when you're not in condition to do so. Know that you will get there, but build up your muscle starting with surface and stored. And then when you get the sentimental, you will be used to saying, what is this? Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go? If it doesn't, where does it go? Okay. So notice that. Yep. Oops, there we go. And I love it. And I always got to give a shout out to everybody who shows up for these TikTok lives. So I do these quite often. And I love how when I am talking to one person, inevitably there'll be some chatter in there, people helping each other out. There's always a good vibe here. And I want to just thank you to the people on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. I know I sound like a broken record about that, but it's a really cool community of people that have just organically, like we're all kind of struggling with our stuff, but we're also here in a sense of help, both needing it and getting it and offering it. It's a really cool kind of thing. It's a collaboration. All right. Okay. I see a lot of things that say, I don't know where to start, and then I get stuck, and then I get quit, and I quit. Baylor Girl said that. Somebody else goes, where do I start? Things like that there. And here's what I want to offer is, again, go to your destination. Why are you doing it? What feels does the decluttering bring up? Notice, are you resentful because you're cleaning up after somebody else? Are you mad at yourself and being mean to yourself because you let it get that way? And why did I do that? And beating yourself up. F that. There's no room for that in this space. Beating yourself up, self-judgment, being mean to yourself or anybody else. No, that we don't play like that here, okay? But get it out of you. Sit down with a notebook today. Sit down with a crappy 50-cent notebook from Staples and whatever pen doesn't aggravate you. And write some stuff down. Get it out of you so you can see what's going on. What feels come up? What do you want your home to even just look like? Not even your home. Maybe the home is the overwhelm. Chunk down that overwhelm. What one room in your home would you like to look different than today so you feel different when you walk into it? Okay? Write that down and then start to live into it. And then basically think of it like a road trip. This is where I love to go from the deep kind of like the feels and everything. And then hell yeah, let's get into the practical. If you had a destination you want to drive to, I'm always going to use Palm Springs, California. I'm in Pennsylvania, PA to PS. Okay? And you want to get there, you would have to drive in your car across many states. You would have different things you could do every day to get yourself closer to that. Decluttering is the same thing. Now, there are certain things you can do to make it more efficient. As I said, start with your surface clutter. Get used to asking yourself, get into the habit of making a decision that aligns with where you want it to go, and then show up every day and drive towards it. And don't beat yourself up if it takes you longer to get there than you hoped. Please. Have you ever been on a road trip? Have you ever tried to do anything and you want to be better at it than you are right now? Welcome to learning patience, learning to not give up when it gets hard, learning to not give up on yourself when you are not seeing the results as soon as you want. Anybody ever tried to lose weight? Hello? So just notice that, okay? And Jenny is saying, I've just moved into a house half the size of my old one. A size problem. I'm stuck at where to begin, boxes everywhere. Here, I want to offer this to everybody. How fun would this be? See, I think decluttering is fun, and I want to make it fun for you. Don't even think you need to unpack all of those boxes. Start to unpack the boxes by taking out the things that you use on a daily basis. Unpack it when you need it. And then notice what you don't use. Notice what you don't use and ask yourself, do I need to even unpack this at all? Or was this just something that I didn't have to make a decision on in my old house because I had enough space for it? It's called like curating your collection. If you were in, I was an art history major, museum studies. Museums don't have everything. They pull out the best. They pull out the best of their collection. So I bet your silverware, there's going to be spoons that you immediately go to and spoons you don't use. There's going to be a knife that's sharper than all the others. I've got a bunch of, spoons and spatulas and which ones are the good ones and which are the ones that I don't use. Okay? Notice that way. Okay? All right? Picky is mentioning the projects I never start, like basement and drawers. Okay. Decision making is a life skill. Decision making is something you can get better at, and it helps when you think about what you want, what you're aiming for. If you don't know what you want your home to look and feel like, it may be more difficult to say, well, does this fit in? Do I want my home to look like this, or do I want it to look like that? The more you say, hey, does this fit into what I want it to look and feel, the easier. Sorry, just totally blanked out for a second. The easier the decision making is going to be. The D, it was like decision versus declutter. But then the other thing too is the stuff that has been packed away. Let's get into the deep end right now. Why not? It's only 8:52 in the morning. I like to get into it because this is where the good stuff happens. Not just floating around and saying all I need to do is put on some, labels and buy the thing. I don't want you to buy a damn thing, except maybe a 50-cent notebook at Staples to write down your stuff. And what I want to offer is when you're going through your stuff, it will bring up feelings. It will bring up emotions. It will make you feel things in your heart, in your nervous system, in your tear ducts, in your gut, in your heart, all of these things. It's going to make you feel feelings. And what I want to just reassure you with and say is that is totally okay and expected, and you are not a robot. You check off, when you join my mailing list, you check a little box that says, I am not a robot. So allow yourself to feel the feelings. Do not let your fear of feeling feelings stop you from driving towards a life you want to live. Stopping doing what you're doing and starting to open up a box and look at the stuff. And you're going to be reminded of who you were when you put it in the box, who you were when you bought that thing, how you got that thing. We are human beings. We tell ourselves stories 24/7. Tell yourself some good stories, okay? Love every version of yourself. Love the version of yourself that put that thing in the box. Love the version of yourself that wrote down that thing, that card. Love the fact that, you have people in your life that love you, or you had them and they're no longer here, but they live in your heart. Seriously, you guys? Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. You will feel them and you will get through it. And on the other side, it's like a rainstorm. It's like it will feel better. You will feel better when you cry, when you let it out. And then you have more clarity. Okay? Notice that. That's where it really is. Okay? Is who you think you are, who you thought you were going to be. Oh, I thought I was going to do this and I didn't. I thought I was going to craft this thing and I didn't. So just notice this, okay? All right. Okay, somebody says, may I say something? Sure, I decluttered once. Yeah, I lost weight once, but then after a few years, I needed those things. Okay, so what did you do? Did you go buy them, Oh, hey, that's very cool. I just saw things from Erica. Nice to see you, Erica from DC. all day. Sorry, so here, let me do this. This is me being a little bit distracted, a little bit ADHD, because I'm like, oh, I'm reading this. Oh, squirrel. Okay. So yeah, you might possibly give away something, sell something, throw something away that later in your life you may end up needing. Welcome to being a human on the planet. This is not like an exact science. This is an art form. This is an organic thing. Yeah, I know there's videos on my TikTok page where I said, hey, guess what? I actually realized that I gave away something I months later needed. Oh, well, how about this? Here's a good phrase for you to put in your lexicon. Oh, well. Oops. So what did you do? You go and you maybe buy one, you borrow it. I love the phrase, believe you can borrow. Because if it was a few years later that you needed the thing, how often might you need it again? Do you really need to buy one? Or does somebody else you know, a neighbor, a friend, a stranger on a Facebook group in your town, hey, does anybody have a circular saw that I need to saw two things? Okay, so notice that. And it's going to happen. It is. It happens to the professionals, It's okay. You're a human. It's going to happen. But that shouldn't let you stop. That shouldn't stop yourself from asking yourself, what is this thing in my life? Do I want it right now? Do I think I'm going to use it in the future? And you know what I mean? Give yourself a little, I might need that. I might need that. When might you need it? Get specific. The specifics, they say the devil is in the details. I say the delight is in the details, because the details are the things that get you to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm probably not going to use that. I can't even think of it because we have so few things like that. I'm probably not going to use that spiral slicer except for one time a year when I might make an apple pie. So if I give it away, if I do want to make an apple pie, I can cut my apples with a knife that I have all the time. Something like that. So yes, I was going to say hi to Erica from DC. I'm really excited about us getting together too. I feel like I'm going to do a little kind of segue into commercial. I used to be in college radio back in the 80s, and we used to work on like the clock, and so it's top of the hour. My name is Beth. You're tuned into Destination Decluttered TikTok Live here on, what day is it? Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. I do these TikTok Lives often. I also download them and then upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube if you want to listen to them in the background while you're doing your surface clutter cleaning. Many people have said that it kind of does this body doubling thing. ADHD people, you know what that's like. And just, get yourself, some encouragement, some motivation, some reminder to stop what you're doing automatically and just say, hey, is what I'm doing giving me the life I want? And listen for the answer. And if the answer is no, cool, awesome. What can I do today that's going to stop me doing that and start me doing something a little bit different today that I can do a little bit. It's like miles on a road trip. Okay. But I mention that also because I do one-on-one coaching. This is something I freaking love, because when I'm talking right now to over 200 people, I am just kind of giving the blanket statements that I hope applies to everybody. One-on-one coaching on Zoom, 10-week package. It's all I offer, 10 weeks. And then you can block, you can add them on. All we do is get so into where you specifically are jammed up. And we have fun with it. I treat it like a road trip. Is where are you now? And where do you want to go? Let's create a roadmap, and every week we get a little bit closer. And if you get lost, I help you steer, and I help you create a toolkit that you can pull tools out of your toolkit when you're stuck, when you get lost, to get you unstuck, to get you focused, to get back on track in a way that feels good. And the cool thing is, I gotta say, and this is why I do the coaching, is because it's not just about how to organize your home. The tools that you use, I teach you how to use and give you your own set of tools you bring with you for the rest of your life, and you can use them in so many different areas of your life. It's just awesome. And that's what lights me up. And Erica and I are going to be working one-on-one when she gets back. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, get on my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. You get first dibs on my coaching consultations, which is just a one-on-one. It's a free convo that we have about what you're struggling with, and if what I do can help you. And if the answer is yes and I can help you, we talk about price, we talk about scheduling, and we get you on the calendar So that, and the cool thing is even getting on the calendar now, maybe you're saying, whoa, I can't even deal, like December is too much. Do your consultation now. Say yes to yourself, and we can start in January after the kerfuffles. When you want to start, doesn't everybody do like a, New Year's resolution this year? Did you have a New Year's resolution this year? Way back in January of 2023. If it had something to do with clutter and you're not there yet, how about starting 2024 with somebody on your side who has been on this journey many times, who is a living, breathing, loving, sharing example of how cool it can be when your home looks better and you feel better, and then that has a positive ripple effect, as I like to say, in all the other areas of your life. Okay? There we go. I love it. Mountain Rebel Craft says it took me 6 months to go through my entire house, and as of yesterday, I went through the last bag. Rock on. There we go. Okay. Donna Tremaine is asking, why do I need to see everything? If I put it in a drawer, I forget and rebuy. ADHD could be a bit of it. But the other thing I want to point out is, I bet you, Donna and everybody else, is that you have things that you put in drawers that you do remember it's there. Do you have a silverware drawer? Do you have a drawer that you put your socks and underpants and, t-shirts in? Okay. You have examples of where you do put things in a drawer and you don't forget them, so you don't rebuy them. So here's where I think you might want to get curious. When you put something in a drawer and you forget it, did you put it in a drawer that was strategic, that you said, hey, I am purposely putting this in this drawer because this is where this is going to live. This is where my can opener lives. This is where my sweatshirt lives. This is where my lip balm lives. Or did you kind of throw it in a drawer to quickly cover, something like that? Being intentional about, and this is the functionality part of it, is making it work for you in your home, in your brain, to encourage you to increase the likelihood that you will know where you put stuff. Okay? Now, as I said, I have ADHD in my family. I know that whole out of sight, out of mind. I personally feel like that is a really good, that's something that somebody said once that has a kind of rhyming effect. But I want to say there are also examples of your life that say out of sight, still in mind. Like if I said, where's your toothbrush? You probably know where your toothbrush is. Encourage yourself to not just believe something just because it rhymes. Now, I do a lot of rhyming and alliteration, but I always try to make sure that those things make sense. Okay? All right. Boy, do I have a lot of conflict. Here, I want to offer this too, is I see a lot of comments, and I love this. I love this interaction. Gosh, I do this. So I'm doing more TikTok lives. When you go to follow my page, you will see the schedule for the next 2 weeks or so. And then also, I want to offer to you, if you get on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, we do a group, monthly free group Zoom call. It's a taste of what one-on-one coaching is like because it's on Zoom. You ask a question, I answer, and it's a lot easier than typing and going pip, 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 pip. Okay? Because with almost 200 people here right now, things swash by me. Okay? And so I don't miss questions intentionally. They go by too fast when there's so many people. When we do the Destination Decluttered monthly Zoom, which is going to happen next week, the week after, I'll have to check my own schedule. It's like a tenth of the amount of people here, so we can really get into good stuff. Okay? All right. What do we have here? All right, here we go. There we go. Yeah, Cassie says, Cassandra says, people have to remember living clutter-free is not a one-time thing. It's a lifestyle. It is. It is. But the cool thing is it can be just so simple, All right. I love it that there's a little back and forth going there. Kind of going back. This is so funny that, there we go. Hey, Harry Stylish Nana. Movers coming today to pack. Downsizing as a widow, a mom, a nana. 48 years of life. It's wild. Yeah, you know what's really cool about that? What an adventure you are about to embark on. And when you become aware of the fact that you can write the next chapter of your life and make it however you want to be, regardless of what the past looked like, you can create a future that feels and functions and looks more like you want it to be and how you want to feel. Okay, notice that. I love that people are helping each other in the comments. And as I said, I apologize if I miss your question. But if how about this? If you have a question that you have on one of the TikTok lives that I've missed, comment on one of my existing videos, maybe the one that's the schedule for these ones, and then I can do a video response specifically for you and that question. Okay, so if it flips by and I can't see it, and I'm only on here for another 25 minutes, um, I can help you with that. All right. Um, there we go. I just cleaned out my desk and tossed out 1.5 garbage bags full of junk. It says, it's me. Awesome. But get curious when you do this. Why did just get curious with yourself. What was the garbage? Why did I save it so long? Because if you don't figure out why you did it, you might go back to recluttering. Um, okay, that's so funny. A pen drawer. Yeah. And I bet you have favorite pens that you pick out all the time. There we go. There we go. Laura Gibbons Voorhees says, today's decluttering assignment for myself. Boxing up duplicate kitchen items for my son to consider. Awesome. Notice that a lot of your clutter may just be duplicates of items you already have. CG Rack said, managing family heirlooms. Yes. How about this? Get together with your family. See who wants what. Do you want it all? Do you want any of it? You don't have to. You don't have to want any of it. But notice this. I love it. Laura says, yes, and if he doesn't want it, the box goes to the Salvation Army. I go it. There we go. So notice that. Yes, Callie Rose is saying, as someone with ADHD, setting timers and body doubling helps. Yes, timers, 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 time for timer. Anybody remember that, my Gen X folks? Yes, using the timer. You've got a timer on your cell phone, okay? And use it. Set a timer for like 20 minutes. I like 20 minutes because 20 minutes makes an hour. And it's like a good time. It feels like a good amount of time. It's better to me than 15 minutes. 15 minutes, you need to do 4 of those to get to an hour. You only need to do 20 minutes to do an hour. Okay, yes, time for timer. We're going to make, little cheese sandwiches and carefully poking the toothpick to make the little sunshine on a stick. Okay? Okay, Jeannie for Jean says, problem, my children say they want it, but leave it at my house. Call them on it, Jeannie. Don't allow them, with love, don't allow them to do that. Say, if you want this, you need to come and get it, and let's make a plan and a timeline. Getting specific. Not just, oh, I'll pick it up someday. Someday is not on the calendar. When? My husband and I, and this is how good this is, we want to install a couple of lamps next to our bed. I want there to be lamps installed next to the bed so I can read better. And so we literally put it on the calendar. I think it's Sunday the 10th when it looks like a free time. There you go. Frozen juice snacks on the ice cream tape, So yes, notice that there are certain decisions you make that get your home cluttered or less cluttered. And one of the decisions you make is maybe not following up with the people who say they want stuff and then allowing them to leave it at your house. If that doesn't do it for you, if them leaving it at your house is causing you to feel, do something about that. Figure out what bugs you and notice that, and how can you resolve that? Okay. Ingrid is saying, I have a problem with where to start. It's such a mess. The cool thing is how to get motivated. You're depressed. Okay. Katie, I will say, if you're truly, truly depressed, please get mental health help. Totally serious about that. Nothing wrong with it. No shame. But mental health has a lot to do with it. I know my place on the spectrum of help, and I am not, and nor do I care to be, a licensed mental health professional. But if you need help of the serious kind, there's just better help out there for you if you are. However, if you're just bummed out and unmotivated, then I can encourage you, and I will say this, start with your destination in mind. There's that self-help book from the guy, The 7 Habits of Effective People. Start with the end in mind. What do you want it to look like? What do you want to feel like? I want to feel calm. I want to feel in control. I want to feel better. Not just how it looks, but how it looks correlates to how you feel. If it looks crappy, you're going to feel crappy. Make it look better, you'll feel better. A little bit at a time. Okay? And then when you say, this is how I want it to look, even just chunk it down. one surface at a time, one 20-minute segment at a time, one room at a time, one place at a time, one unit of measure at a time. And then start, and then lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Do that every day. The more you show up and you declutter, the quicker you will get to your destination. It's math. It's like a road trip. But the neat thing is too, is I want you to think about it too, like a road trip. It is not a commute. It is not I'm going to not enjoy the process. I'm going to postpone joy until I get there. What it is I'm going to do some decluttering, but then I'm also going to make sure that every day of my life, and this is one of the things that coaching helps with too, is doing things every day that make your life feel better every day. Not postponing it, but giving yourself, what do I want to feel like then? How can I get that feeling right now? Okay. Yeah. Laura is saying, Mom hung on to stuff and she died September of 2022, and it felt so nice to be in control of what I get rid of. Yeah, that feeling of control. Other generations, older generations than us, struggled so much more with this because they didn't think about why they were doing it. They were probably reacting to legitimate external and internal sources. The Great Depression of the 1920s and 30s, that notion of, that's good, I can't get rid of it. The fact that back in the day, you didn't have the quantity of items available to you. I mean, think about it. 100 years ago, you couldn't hit a button and have something delivered to your house within a few hours. It's a different life we live in, but sometimes we have not updated the app of our lives, our habits and our thoughts, our habit thoughts, our feeling thought, our habit thoughts, our habit feelings, our habit actions have not caught up with how our lives work now. Okay. Somebody is saying, I make a list on how to organize, and then I get a paralysis mindset with being overwhelmed. You know what? You're just looking at it too big. Paralysis is stopped. That's when you chunk it down to get yourself moving. Okay. Don't overwhelm yourself, guys. Don't. That is a game stopper. When you find yourself overwhelmed, this is the next mug. So I pretty much drink from the same coffee mugs, 2 mugs every day. I wash them out because I love the size, and I put little like inspirational sayings on them. Like this one says, "Listen to your co-pilot, not your backseat drivers. I'm your co-pilot. Your backseat drivers are in the backseat, making you not want to do this." And also, drive your life. I get a little iced. Drive your life in the direction of your dreams. Okay. And what I want to offer is, don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed. When you think of or feel overwhelmed, stop right there before you go any further. Now I'm channeling Meatloaf. And I want to say, calm down. Think of all the downs. That's what I call it. It's a kind of a catch-all. Calm down, slow down, breathe down. Calm down your nervous system, breathe down, then write down all those things, which you did, but then chunk it down. Yeah, you've got a list. Can you imagine a road trip if you had to write down all the miles between PA and PS, Pennsylvania and Palm Springs? That would get overwhelming. You might not want to start. I'm looking at a map of the US right now and looking at Pennsylvania, and I'm seeing all these states I would have to drive to get to Palm Springs, California. That is overwhelming. But that's not a roadmap. A roadmap is where you literally can put your destination into your Google Maps, and it just shows you what's the next street, then what's the next street, then what's the next street, then what's the next street. Do it, chunk it down, small, and just get going, but get going in the direction that you want to lead. Okay? There were things. Okay? Chrissy Wolf says, it's so hard to get rid of memories. Don't get rid of your memories. If they're crappy memories, yeah. Erase minimize the crappy memories. Remember the good stuff. You don't have to. Here's the thing about clutter. I think everybody always wants to get to, start right here. So much of your clutter is surface and then stored. There is a small but powerful amount of your clutter that I bet has really deep memories, but you don't have to keep, you can keep the memories and release the item. Okay? Notice that. You can find different ways. Taking a picture of it, writing down the story, making a video, sharing the story of an item with a friend. You can make different ways that you can hang on to a good memory without having to hang on to every single piece of clothing. Okay? Yeah. Boy, mama, girl, grandma, I get so overwhelmed by trying to declutter clothes. Well, then don't just think of clothes. Chunk it down. Your clothing has categories. How about clothes that fit and don't fit? 2 categories. How about clothes that are t-shirts, underpants, socks? How about summer clothes, winter clothes? Chunk down your overwhelm. When you think of overwhelm, there's a down that can help you with that. Calming down, breathing down, settling down your nervous system. When you settle down, and as I said, not like simmer down, settle, calm down. Calming down will allow you to say, I got this. Okay? Notice this. Annalisa, Pixel Pitbull, nice to see you. Came to share that I've been slowly whittling down the boxes in my garage last week. Awesome. Awesome. There we go. Okay. Somebody has Instapots. We've got one in the basement. We barely use it. That's where I feel bad to get rid of them, as my fiance gifted them. Okay. Notice this. Getting rid of, I always am trying to notice the words we use that are going to make things feel easier and feel more difficult. When you think you're getting rid of something, that means you're losing something. How about this? You are sharing your abundance with other people who don't have as much as you do. Think about that. Think about the fact that clutter means you have too much in a really good way. You have more than enough. Enough is that just right feeling, that Goldilocks feeling, just right. Clutter is the layer above that, which is too much. I have too many of these things. It is so much. I feel like I am drowning. I'm in over my head. All of those things, that kind of gasping, no. Notice the stuff that's just in the way of you feeling just right. Head above water, splashing around, having fun. The stuff that is giving you that feeling, you can share it with other people who don't even have it. Okay? And if you feel bad to get rid of them, what could make you feel better about releasing them out into the world where somebody who doesn't have as much as you do could benefit from your abundance? Clutter is an abundance problem. I am really curious because the interesting thing to me is I am here on TikTok. I have been for about a year or so. And mostly every single one of my one-on-one clients, and so many people here, tune in from the United States. Maybe Canada, I don't know, but I rarely see people from internationally. And that's because our society is a capitalist society that is encouraged to buy things, that we keep our economy going by buying things. And so we get in this mindset of more is better. You can't have too much. Guy with the biggest toys wins and all that. Have you ever eaten too much? It can feel uncomfortable. You think it's good at the time because your taste buds are like, yay, and then your gut goes, too much. Too much can feel not good. Too much can feel not good, much like not enough can. What we want to feel is kind of a just right feeling. And notice the stuff that gives you that ugh feeling, that heavy feeling, and you can do something about it. Okay? User 41688 is saying, I'm a doll collector, but need to find a way to downsize them. Here's a way that's going to help you with your dolls and everybody else who's struggling to do this. Instead of thinking of it as a struggle, how about this? Have some fun with it. Start with your favorites. Don't think about the ones that you want to get rid of. Think of the ones you want to keep. Everybody, if you have items that you are thinking you have too many of, start with your favorites. You do it anyway. You pick your favorite mug. You pick your favorite pen. You pick your favorite hoodie. You pick your favorites. Notice the ones you organically are drawn to that give you that kind of green light feeling in your heart. This one works well. I feel like I look good in it. This one, I love the handle. Whatever it is, start with the good ones, because that's curating your collection to the ones that mean the most to you. I always like to bring in metaphors to help you think about these things. So here's a metaphor. It comes from driving, on a road trip and just in the real world. But think about the metaphor of a traffic light. And this also reminds me of a game we used to play when I was a kid, because I was a Gen Xer. And so we played in somebody's front yard or backyard. Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, yellow light. You ever play that where somebody is like the guy and you have to stop and go? What color traffic signal shows up in your heart when you look at an item? Is it green light? Oh my God, I love that. That's my favorite doll. I love that mug. What's the thing you lean into and you grab for without thinking? Then notice the things that aren't green. What's the one where it's like, yeah, well, that's okay. I guess if my favorite mug is not available, I could use this other one. Notice that's more like a yellow feeling, like meh, whatever. And then also, if you have a lot of clutter in your house, notice the things that give you that red, stop, no feeling. Ugh, I hate that mug, it's chipped. That one always gets too hot in the microwave. That one tells me a bad story because somebody gave it to me and we had a bad relationship. I don't know, whatever. Okay? Notice that. Okay? And trust that. Diane Irby is asking, how long to keep grown kids' things like graduation caps? Okay, here's what I want to offer. Are you keeping it for yourself or are you keeping it for them? If you're keeping it for them, ask them if they want it. And if they say no, now you can get rid of it. But if you're keeping it for yourself, sit with it and say, why am I keeping this? And it's going to make you feel some feelings. It's probably going to be like, wow, they graduated. They're not that age anymore. They're getting older. I'm getting older too. Now I feel like I'm going to sing When I'm 64 by the Beatles. Notice why you're keeping it. And if you want to do away, if you want to let go of it, I'm going to say do away with that. That sounds deep and like, death-like. Notice the feelings, feel the feelings, remember the memories, feel it in your heart. And then once you kind of pull this meaning out of the item, it might just become like a random mortarboard. Okay? Notice why you're keeping it. And if it's for them, ask them if they want it. If they don't want it, trust them that they don't want it. The younger generations do not want as much stuff as we saved. Okay? Now, trust me, I am a sentimental person like nobody's business. But the quantity of sentimental items, the way you package them up, the way you store them, why you're saving them, get good at making decisions before you even do this, okay? There we go. Yep, landslide. All right. Okay. Yeah, the feels. Here's the deal, Diane and everybody. I know. You say, ugh, the feels. How about yay, the feels? The feels mean you're alive. The feels mean you're not a robot. Sure, you're going to cry. I talk about these things all the time. Right now, I am talking about abstract, sentimental feelings about your kids graduating from whatever they graduated from. I feel my nervous system activated. I could cry right now because I am a feeling human being. I think now I'm going to then make it personal, and I'm going to talk about my nieces and nephews. My niece has just turned 21 this year. My nephew is graduating high school this year. I'm getting older too. Yes, and then, landslide. It's a thing to be human, but embrace that. You're not a robot. You are not a robot, okay? Allow yourself to feel the feelings and love, and then make the most of the time you have. Know that the time is going to pass whether you feel the feelings or not. So embrace the feelings and then say, I want to feel better. I want to feel good. I want to feel love moving forward, okay? And as Jen just said, yeah, Catherine said, yay, the feels, yes, and hurt does not last forever. There are studies out there that show that it's like literally when you sit in a feeling, it lasts for not even 2 minutes. And then you will be on the other side of this. I always, when I'm coaching and I talk about this, because we do get deep, but this is where the good stuff happens. When you understand where it's all coming from, and where it's really all coming from is the dance and the interplay between your head and your heart. You have a thought, you have a feeling, you have a thought, and you have a feeling. Head, heart, head, heart. If you want to get rid of something and you're not getting rid of it, it's because there's something going on here. And that's okay. When you stop and you say, okay, what's going on here? Oh, that makes me feel sad. They're no longer this old. That's from my dad. He's dead. This is from a relationship I had and it didn't work out. I used to be friends with that person and now I'm not. Whatever it is. And yes, and Annalisa says, I keep reminding myself that getting older is better than not. Okay? And you're going to feel the feels, but that's okay. If you don't feel the feels, here's where I want to say, ever tried to stop yourself from throwing up? Nobody wants to throw up. You're afraid of throwing up, but man, does it feel better after you do it. Allow the things. Your body is telling you to release that, to get it out, not to keep it in. When you've tried to fight back tears, let the tears flow. You're not going to feel the feels for forever. You're going to get it out, and you're going to feel drained, but then you're going to feel better, and you're going to feel at peace. And you got that out. I'm so glad I got that off my chest. Notice all the things we do. You're going to feel lighter. You can feel like you breathe. Wow, okay. And you know what you're going to learn? You're going to learn that you can go through things that you're scared of and survive. You're going to get on the other side of it, even if you're afraid of crying, even if you're afraid of feeling feelings. Practicing doing something that you're a little bit scared of and getting on the other side and say, oh, look at me. I survived. Okay? And the cool thing is not every clutter item is of this deep sentimental. You've got 2 layers of clutter above that can make your home look and feel and function better. There's a small yet powerful percentage that's sentimental, but boy, can you practice asking yourself the following. First of all, what do I want my home and life to feel like? What do I want to feel like? What does my home look like? How do I want it to function? Write that down. That's your destination. Okay? And then you say, okay, here I am today. That's what I want it to look like. What can I do today to get more of that feeling? I can start with even just one shelf. And I can say, oh, look at that shelf. It looks better. I feel better when I look at that nice organized shelf. And then tomorrow you go do the next shelf and chunk it down. It's not a truckers on trucker speed. All right? It's a road trip. Enjoy yourself. Do some of this, get that feeling, and then say, what else can I do today to get more of the feeling of my destination in today? Okay? Yep. But notice that you will get better at making decisions. Decision making is a good muscle to have. And when your decision making comes from, what do I want my life to look like? And say, does this get me closer or further away? Savannah is asking, can you explain about the order of getting rid of stuff, starting with clothes, then books? Yes. You've got surface, you've got stored, you've got sentimental, clothing, books, any of it. This is why I love to coach the way I do, because the way that you do your clothes is the way you do your books, is the way you do everything, is categorize it. Chunk it down. Take care of your nervous system, your heart. Get your heart involved in it, and then say, okay, I'm going to do this for the right reasons. This feels good. I am going to categorize my clothing in a way that helps me chunk it down so then I can make decisions of, do I want this in my life or not? And if I want it, where do I put it? And if I don't want it, where can I release it so it might help somebody else? Okay? Notice that. Okay, Painting of a Duck says, I get overwhelmed with starting. Then don't overwhelm yourself. You have control over this. There is a tool in your toolkit, and that is all the downs. If you're overwhelmed, even just thinking, okay? Thinking of the word over, the opposite. Opposite of fear is love. Stop is go. The opposite of overwhelm is down. Calming down your nervous system, breathing down, slowing down, and then writing down, chunking down. Those are, if you just remember that, when you chunk it down to a small space where you're not overwhelmed, where suddenly your heart is like, you know what, I could do that. I could set my timer today for 20 minutes and spend it on something in my kitchen. And at the end of that 20 minutes, my kitchen is going to look different. I'm going to feel different because I did something. I didn't just sit there and be stuck. If you're sitting there paralyzed, what's the opposite of paralyzed? Move it around. Move around like a Kermie. Get your body moving. Do the opposite. If you're afraid, take one step. Open the box. Take one step. Open the book. Take one step. Feel a feeling. One step at a time is how we do anything. Okay? Yvette XO says, any tips for decluttering a work computer? Nah. You know what? Digital clutter is its own unique animal. I live with so much more digital clutter, but basically than I do in my home because it's different. But what I want to say is, how about this? Work on your outside clutter and then, see what you need to do with your inside clutter. Okay? Gypsy 1958-2 is saying storage unit hasn't been touched in a year. Gypsy, why don't you do this today? Drive over to the storage unit, open up the shelf, and just sit there and feel some feelings. And say to yourself, what do I want this storage unit to look like? Are there things in this storage unit I want? The interesting thing is, notice that your life has gone by for an entire year and you haven't needed anything in that storage unit to live your life. Isn't that kind of cool to think about? There we go. Human beings not doing. Beth, desktop cleaned. Thanks for the body double. You are welcome. That's why I'm here. Okay. All right. And I love it that Laura is helping, all this good stuff. Hey, there we go. Leslie O'Leary says, I went through a box the other day and I found a first edition book that sells for $500. I will say this, decluttering can often make you money. Doesn't all the time, but some people have found cash, books that are worth something, gift cards they forgot about, all sorts of things. Guess what? I'm dropping off stuff we never used to our church this morning. Go Rossman. Excellent. There we go. Notice this. Okay. We did a decluttering in the house this weekend and donated a pickup truck bed full of stuff. See, this is why I do what I do. Because I do the one-on-one coaching. If you want me as your one-on-one coach, I freaking love that. I have some consultation slots available on my calendar. Go to destinationdecluttered.com. You can sign up for a consultation. We can get you on the books. If December seems a little bit too crazy, I know I have stuff going on that's affecting my availability for coaching because I'm a human and I celebrate things and I take travels and things like that. If you want me on your coach, you want me as your coach in 2024, sign up now before my rates go up. Okay. The other thing too is even simple baby step. Maybe you're not ready for that yet. Cool. Notice your nervous system isn't quite there yet. Mailing list. It's free. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. We will be having a monthly group Zoom in December, which is literally Friday, people. December of 2023 is Friday. I do these TikTok lives, stuff like that there. Okay, it's 9:32. I've got stuff to do, and I know you do too. And thank you very much for everybody who has helped everybody else, everybody who showed up. I will be doing another TikTok live. Let's see, today's Wednesday. Oh, tomorrow, Thursday. I'm doing one at night. Well, night for me because I'm in Pennsylvania, but this is also for my West Coast folks. So if you know somebody, get the word out. If you know people who are struggling with clutter, the more the merrier. The more we all can work together. And so let them know about Destination Decluttered. I'm here on TikTok. I show up on Facebook and Instagram, website. TikTok lives are uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. People use them for body doubling, all sorts of good stuff. Okay. So many good things. You guys rock. Thank you so much. Oh, I see a bunch of, see a couple of things. People are showing up, asking for consultations. So excited about that. I will get back to you and I will see you maybe tomorrow. And in the meantime, please remember, if you are not driving in the direction, if where you're going is not where you want to end up, pull your car over to the side of the road and say, wait a minute, I'm going to stop this. Where do I want to go? And then I'm going to start to just drive towards that. Okay. And we make it fun. It's a road trip, not a commute. Okay. I got to sign off because I got to walk downtown and take some, get some exercise, bundle myself up. Have a good day. Okay. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Bye.